Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Phil Hinton, the site editor, and joining me on this video is Ian Morrish from Together for Cinema. So Ian, before we find out about Together for Cinema, just tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Gosh, 35 years in the industry. My background is non-technical. I'm the least technical man I think I know in the industry, but my background is sales and customer engagement and sort of management, account management. I worked with Cedia for 9 years. I worked at the ISE show building it, well, for 13 years, joined in 2007, left in 2020, building it from the little show it was to the monster it became in Amsterdam. That was a very progressive 13 years. While I was at Integrated Systems Europe, I started Together for Cinema in 2009. So we'll obviously get to that in a second. But that's my background, basically sales and customer engagement, non-technical.
And for those joining us on the video, that means that side of the industry that you're talking about is the custom installation. It's the smart home side of the business. It's not necessarily the consumer facing side. It's more business to business. Is that correct?
Yeah, business to business, mainly in the residential market, obviously with Cedia, but for Integrated Systems Europe, the ISE show, that was a trade show. So as you say, business to business, and as I say, the show has just grown enormously. Anyone in our industry will probably know, well, they certainly will know of that show.
Yeah. So let's talk about Together for Cinema. So first of all, what is it? When did it start? And what's the aim behind it?
What it is, basically, the simplicity of it is it's an AV industry, good cause, now a community interest company, a registered community interest company that comes under Companies House, that works with the AV industry to install cinema rooms into beneficiary venues like children's hospices and other deserving family care scenario venues, so adult hospices, respite care centers, and so on. It started in 2009 while I was watching TV. I won't bore you with all the emotional details and the drive, but I had an idea in 2009 while I was working at ISC because things were going well there. I thought I'd like to give a little back. So 2009, I watched a program called The Secret Millionaire. 14 months later, our first cinema room opened at a place called Donna's Dream House in Blackpool, which was a holiday home for children with short lives. Um, that was received really well. Not a penny changed hands for the next 12 years, and we installed 25 rooms by 2020. And again, not a penny changed hands. It was all donated installer time, donated expenses by myself and others, and donated product. Had they been paid for, those 25 rooms would have cost probably just over £500,000. And we are now moved forward to 2025. We've installed 51 rooms at a, had they been paid for, value at 1.4 million. So it's been a real industry, supported, backed, loved movement, actually. And I say industry, more the residential AV industry. We're very well known now in the residential world, sort of CDO world. And we have lots of partners who support us with a little bit of money, some product, and some installer time. We can always do with more, but we're very well supported. So it's been a great journey so far. It really has.
And I know it might be an obvious question, but I think it's an important one to ask is that these cinema rooms that you're putting in, um, how much enjoyment, how much therapy, how much good
Impact. Yeah.
impact does it have on the people that
Yeah.
you're donating these things to?
Um, when I started this, I had no idea actually, and it was almost like personally, I just wanted to do a little bit of good and give a bit back. As each install goes on and the impact and understanding of the difference we're making grows, I can say confidently, without any arrogance, because I set this thing up. It's a huge impact to bring the cinema experience into a beneficiary venue that simply doesn't have that facility to take the children or the family to a normal cinema is huge. It really is. That cuddle time with mum, that losing themselves an hour and a half in a darkened room with twinkly lights on the ceiling and a big picture and the super audio. That's really hard to get to for most of these families and most of these venues. I think it's proven by the amount these rooms get used, not only as a cinema room, but also as an AV interactive room, with gaming, maybe with disco karaoke, with fundraising, with training, and so on. These AV room facilities, cinema rooms, have been really well received. So the impact is huge.
And I guess we're moving in, the whole industry is moving towards more immersive venues, more immersive rooms, more immersive audio, and so on. So it's not, I would imagine, just the cinema side, but it's having a nice, comfortable, quiet place to sit and reflect, but also perhaps have, a bit of immersion, a bit of audio, a bit of light, that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, I think it's sort of it's an extension of, I mean, for example, in Children's Hospice, they have sensory rooms, and this is an extension of their
Yeah,
sensory room stimulation. You know, big picture, fantastic audio, twinkly lights, LED lights, and so on. It really is an extension of that. Um, Talking about the immersive side and the sort of the quiet side. One story we had an installation in a children's hospice that had an adult hospice next door, and there was an elderly couple. The gentleman was dying, and him and his wife got wheeled in the cuddle bed, as it's called, and they watched It's a Wonderful Life. He died 2 days later, and the wife said it was just the most calming, almost you can go now sort of moment while they had that an hour and a half in a darkened room watching It's a Wonderful Life. Stories like that, really do sit very strong with me, and I think most
yeah,
people. Lots of
yeah,
other stories I could tell you, of course.
yeah. So, I mean, how does this whole process work then, Ian? Do venues come to you? Do you go to venues? And how do you then put the room together? Is it made specifically for a certain is every room different, or is there a plan that you
Absolutely.
work to?
Yeah, no, every room is very different. But the process is such that we started working with Together for Short Lives, which is a big umbrella charity of children's hospices. And they know us very well. And we now work with Marie Curie adult hospices and various other charitable groups, NHS hospitals as well, we're working with. We tend to have people come to us now because the word has got out that there's a free cinema room available. Hey, look, that word gets out there
Mm,
and people bring me up. So we have 10 more installations this year. We already next year have 6 on the books. And in the pipeline there are lots more. So it used to be me almost selling the idea, and people were very suspicious. This is too good to be true. So it was almost I had to impose it on them. But now we have lots of people coming to us. The way the system works is that we find a venue, I visit the venue, have a look at the rooms. They're all different. They're completely different. Some have hoists in, some have real serious medical considerations, some are box rooms, some have really high ceilings, some are, they're really challenging. We find an installer locally, from generally a CEDIA member installer. They don't have to be, but that's just a good group that we go to. A CEDIA Trade Association member installer who then visits the venue as well. We discuss what can be done with the room. That's as far as my technical ability goes. And then the installer draws up a product kit list that he feels would be suitable for the room. We then pass it with the venue. We then go and get the equipment. Most of it, if not all of it, is donated. And then the installer installs. We have an opening event. You might get a celeb down or whatever it is. We report it, then we move on to the next one. There's a
yeah.
lot of feel good. There's a lot of not so yes, of course, for me, but I think for the whole industry, everyone that contributes, people want to be involved because most of our installers install for high net worth individuals who can sometimes be a little arrogant, can sometimes not use their cinema room very often. These rooms, the gratitude is huge and they get churned. They get used certainly every week and probably every day. So there's a real difference to the installers as well.
So as well as Together for Cinema, Ian, I do believe that there is another interest that you have here, and another business, and another way for the industry to give and receive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as inspired by Together for Cinema, having realised the desire for charities and good causes to improve their AV offering, as it were. We've introduced and commissioned a website called GivingBack.tech, TECH, and very simply, what it is, it's almost like a freebase site where we would ask manufacturers, distributors, integrators, corporates, etc., to post individual items that are discontinued B stock or secondhand on this website. There'll be a simple way to do this and so on. This website then will go to the charities and the community interest companies in the UK. And it's very simple. They can just select what products they want. Generally, they're sort of more plug and play than sort of complex control. But if there's a screen, there's a projector, there's some speakers, there's a video conferencing, soundbar, etc., that all of these charities could use. There is millions of pounds worth of equipment, as we all know, sitting in warehouses, gathering dust, doing nothing. And some of it's secondhand, etc. So this is just something that the people I've spoken to in the industry, the trade associations, why haven't we done this before? Well, we're doing it. It may be ready in 6 months, it may be 2 years, but we're going to get it right and we're going to do it.
Yeah, like you say, people wants to hear about this and the good that you guys are doing. They want to get involved in some way. Our audience are huge; they're all enthusiasts and so on. If they feel that they want to give a little bit back and so on, how is there some way that they can get involved with Together for Cinema? Is there some way they can donate or
Absolutely.
yeah? So maybe
Yeah,
tell us about that.
by all means, thank you, Phil. I mean, thanks for the prompt for me to appeal. Yes, hey, look, we need as much help as we can get. We're only a relatively small community interest company. We turn over just over 100,000 a year, and that's enough to keep us going. We can do more. We really can. The way that people can get involved, I mean, first we have a website, www.togetherness.co.uk, and the 4 is letters, FOR, togetherness.co.uk. And you can contact me through there. The other option is to email me at ian@togethernesscinema.co.uk, and then we can just chat. We can chat about how you might want to get involved. People may have some secondhand kit that is in perfect order. They might want to donate it. They might want to make a financial donation. They may know a venue that would be really suitable for us to work with. We need eyes and ears and support from the industry and from your listeners.
Yeah. Well, it's been great having you on the podcast, Ian. Thank you very much for your time. I think it's a great cause. I've known about you guys for a little while, and it's always been a desire to get you on the podcast, just to get the word out there that we see all the fancy stuff, we see all the fancy rooms, and like you say, high net worth clients and all the rest of it. We see the fantastic cinemas that they have, but I think these rooms, like you say, have a huge amount of impact and
Really
for
do.
people who really need it as well. So yeah, great cause. I'm a big fan. And if,
Thank you.
like Ian says, if anybody wants to get involved or find out a little bit more, go visit the website. And if you feel inclined, then get in touch with Ian. And I'm sure you'll appreciate the contact and any ideas or donations or anything else that you guys might want to give. So Ian, thank you very much for your time. And thank you very much for watching this video. Please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.